another team trying to take that next step forward, from, hey, we finally made the playoffs to becoming regular playoff contenders, and hopefully another one after that is the Sens. It's been an interesting start for them. They kick off the year with a big win over Tampa Bay. But since then, and including then, Shane Pinto really at the moment looks like the only guy really going. They did drop another one on Monday to Nashville. Mm-hmm. That sucks. Nashville is not a good team. Mm-hmm. That's one you don't want to. Now, there was a couple of games on Monday afternoon. Canadian Thanksgiving, that kind of looked like, hey, we're just getting the season going. We're barely into our routine, and now we're trying to make an afternoon thing happen. The Sens just looked low energy, as did the Leafs. We'll get to that, I guess. But what have you made of the Sens here through the first 3 games? Tough start to the year, having to open up in Tampa and Florida. But that Nashville game at home on a Monday should be a gimme. It didn't turn out to be. A lot of people talking about Pinto and how good he's been. Allmark being not quite as good, through the first few games. What have you seen out of the Sens, man?
Watching a bit yesterday, UC Saros kind of stole that game from Ottawa. Like, Ottawa was the better team, and we're kind of all over him, but they just, played better. And like you said, Linus Allmark maybe not off to the best start that fans would like him to be. But again, you're kind of in a tough spot when you have a starting goaltender that's playing some big top teams like Florida, like Tampa, and you go in against a Nashville team, and it's like, okay, it was a very tight game, but Saros kind of stole that game. Again, it's very early. It's tough to kind of get a good judge. And
Sens took a pile of penalties in that game too.
Yeah.
Undisciplined.
And Pinto, like you said, has been good. And I think the big thing to watch is what's up with Brady Tkachuk now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is...
Did not play in the last 10 minutes of the third period. Was on the bench, but did not come out for a shift. Yeah. So obviously something going on there.
And it's got to be serious because Brady's the guy I'm going to be out there. Yeah. Exactly. So, unfortunate. Looks like it was an injury with his wrist or arm or something like that. Mm-hmm. Very tough. Because that's the guy that everybody says he drags you into the fight.
Yep.
He's your leader, but he has that unicorn style play where he will lead the league in hits. He'll put up 30 goals, and you know what? He'll put up maybe 60, 70 points, and he'll be a standout kind of player. And he's rough, he's big, he's strong, and it's for Ottawa. If he's out long term, that's definitely a big blow early on in the year because like Claude Giroux has kind of showed he's a guy that can be a role player.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a guy that's going to lead your team right now.
Well, at this point, he's a middle six guy, right?
I feel like Tim Stützle is going to have to definitely put the team on his back. Another guy I'd say who's kind of had their better game has been or a good start to the year, Ridley Gregg.
Yeah.
He's a fiery, not the biggest, but he's a guy that finishes his checks. He's a I don't want to call him a rat, but a pest.
Yes.
Yeah, a pest is a good way to put it. And I think that he's shown that he's shown flashes that he's taking another step in his development, which is good. I'm still very much a believer that the Sens are going to be a playoff team this year again.
Yep.
And I think that they're in a good spot. I love Jake Sanderson. I do think he's probably one of the more underrated defensemen in the league, just because
he's the turn-up of the NHL.
Yeah, is he? I don't know. I don't know.
In some people's eyes,
he might like that because he probably eats them all. He's probably really healthy. But I look at him as a guy that I don't think gets talked about enough as being one of the better defensemen. But he is so good, and he might not have had the greatest start to the year, but I still see flashes throughout the game where I think that this guy can absolutely take over games and be so good. And he's big. He's so good with the puck. He's such a good skater. He can be physical. I think he is absolutely like just kind of the future player. Him and Brady and Tim Stützle. But now with these injuries, I guess the injury to Drake Batherson's been out, but with now Tkachuk,
Brady,
we're gonna wait and see what that is. But when you look at that, it's like, okay, Tim Stützle, like we need you to kind of step up a bit here.
Well, and there's gonna be a few guys, right? Like Zetterlund is a guy that I really liked that trade last year for Ottawa, and yet it was a bit of a struggle for him down the stretch to find a place. And so this year, he's been given some chances on that top line. And look, you and I are talking here very early on Tuesday afternoon. We don't have an update yet on Brady. Maybe by the time people hear this, they will. If Brady's going to be out short term, long term, all of a sudden, Zetterlund, he's going to have to find it.
Yeah.
He's going to have to provide some offense. Dylan Cousins, who's...
Same thing.
Yeah, he's off to an okay start. He looks energized. He's had a full camp now with the new coach, with the new team, with the new system. He's a guy who's going to have to find it. Pinto is going to have to continue to produce, not necessarily at the 2-goal-per-game pace that he's doing right now, but you're going to have to get that depth scoring because when you're missing a guy like Brady, it's not just the goals like you're talking about. It's that drag you into a fight. It is those hits. It is those moments that say, hey, I don't give a shit that it's 1:30 on a Monday afternoon. We're playing a game right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are going to have to grab a hold of that a little bit. And I do think Claude Giroux, who you mentioned, for me, I don't really think you want to keep playing that guy on your top line anymore, but he can be that leader now who reminds you this game matters. Like, these games are worth every bit what the ones in March are coming down the stretch. Let's go. And the Sens are going to have to show that a bit if Brady's going to be out for, we don't know, a week, a month, whatever it might be here. But that's a huge loss, man.
Yeah. And again, curious to see what the details are on that and how serious it is, because it can determine a lot, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the Sens in a spot where coming off a playoff run against the Leafs, Battle of Ontario, you made the playoffs for the first time in a good couple of years. You have that excitement in the fan base. You kind of can't afford to lose a guy like Brady for a long term.
When you can't afford to lose the momentum, right? Like, people are excited to start this year.
You don't want this one to go down by the wayside.
No. And you don't want to have the November conversation again, like these sorts of things.
No.
You need to get going here a little bit.